They share a name, a continent, and a family. Both are mambas, members of one of the most feared and most respected genera of venomous snakes in the world. Both are fast, agile, and armed with potent neurotoxic venom capable of killing an adult human without treatment. And both have built reputations that have made the word Mamba synonymous with danger across sub-Saharan Africa. Yet, the black mamba and the green mamba are separated by differences so profound in color, in size, in habitat, in behavior, and in the medical consequences of their bites, that they represent two entirely distinct evolutionary strategies within the same genus. One of them has become arguably the most feared snake on Earth, a creature whose very name evokes a level of dread that few other animals can match. The other is a secretive arboreal specialist that most people living within its range will never encounter in their lifetime, despite the fact that it may be resting in the trees directly above them. Today, WildForge explores every dimension that separates these two iconic African snakes, their evolutionary origins, their striking physical differences, their habitats, their venom, their behavior, and what makes each of them so uniquely dangerous in its own way. Both the black mamba and the green mamba belong to the genus Dendroaspis, the mambas, within the family Elapidae. The genus Dendroaspis is exclusively African and contains 4 species in total: the black mamba and 3 species of green mamba, the West African green mamba, the East African green mamba, and Jameson's mamba of Central and West Africa. All 4 species are venomous, all 4 are fast-moving, and all 4 share the elongated, slender body plan and neurotoxic venom that characterize the genus. But the black mamba stands apart from all 3 green mamba species in ways that go far beyond the color difference suggested by their names. The black mamba, Dendroaspis polylepis, is the largest and most terrestrial of all 4 mamba species. Its scientific name, polylepis, means many scales in Greek, a reference to the large number of scales on its body. The black mamba is found across a vast range in sub-Saharan Africa, from Ethiopia and Somalia in the northeast, south through Kenya, Tanzania, and Mozambique, and west into parts of Angola, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. It consistently occupies savanna, woodland, and rocky terrain, environments where its primary lifestyle as a ground-dwelling snake can be fully expressed, though it is also an accomplished climber when occasion demands. The species most commonly referred to simply as the green mamba in East African contexts is the East African green mamba, Dendroaspis angusticeps, the species we will focus on in this comparison. It is found along the coastal regions of East Africa from southern Kenya south through Tanzania, Mozambique, and into the eastern regions of South Africa. Unlike the black mamba, the East African green mamba is primarily an arboreal species, a tree-dwelling snake that spends the majority of its life in the canopy and understory of coastal forest, and is rarely encountered on the ground. Understanding that there are 3 green mamba species, not just one, helps explain why green mambas have a lower international profile than the black mamba despite being equally well armed. The 3 species occupy overlapping but distinct ranges, and none of them has the vast savanna distribution of the black mamba that brings it into frequent contact with human populations. The physical differences between the black mamba and the green mamba are immediately and unmistakably apparent. These 2 snakes could not be confused with one another by anyone who has seen both. The black mamba is the largest venomous snake in Africa and the second longest venomous snake in the world after the king cobra. Adults typically measure between 2 and 3 meters, with large individuals reliably recorded at 4 meters, and the longest verified specimen measuring approximately 4.5 meters. The body is long, slender, and aerodynamically built, a muscular tube designed for rapid movement across open terrain and through vegetation. The head is distinctive and often described as coffin-shaped, long, narrow, and flat, with a slightly pronounced brow ridge that gives the snake an intense, almost menacing expression when viewed head-on. The scales are smooth and give the body a sleek, slightly metallic appearance. The coloration of the body, despite the name, is not black. Black mambas are typically olive, grayish-brown, or khaki, sometimes with a slightly greenish or yellowish tinge. The name refers not to the body color but to the distinctive jet black coloration of the interior of the mouth, the lining of the oral cavity, which is clearly revealed during the species' characteristic defensive threat display when it gapes its mouth wide open. The East African green mamba is a considerably smaller snake than the black mamba. Adults typically measure between 1.5 and 2 meters, with exceptional individuals occasionally reaching 2.5 meters, making the green mamba substantially shorter and more slender than a large black mamba. The green mamba's body is more gracefully built than the black mamba's, slightly more laterally compressed and lighter in overall mass, reflecting its arboreal lifestyle. The head is narrower and more elegant than the black mamba's coffin-shaped head, and the eyes are proportionally larger, an adaptation associated with species that rely heavily on vision in a three-dimensional arboreal environment. The coloration, as the name suggests, is a brilliant and consistent emerald green, a vivid, intense green that provides extraordinarily effective camouflage among the leaves and branches of the coastal forest it inhabits. The scales have a slightly keeled texture that catches light differently from different angles, enhancing the camouflage effect. The belly is typically pale yellow-green. The tail is long and prehensile, capable of gripping branches, reflecting the species' need to anchor itself while moving through the tree canopy. The habitat preferences of the black mamba and the green mamba differ sharply, and this ecological separation is one of the most practically important differences between the two species from a human safety perspective. The black mamba is a snake of open and semi-open environments. It is most commonly found in savanna, open woodland, bushveld and rocky hillsides, landscapes where its greatest asset, speed across open ground, can be fully utilized. The black mamba requires open terrain with good visibility and typically selects permanent home ranges that include a specific refuge site, a termite mound, a rock crevice, a hollow tree to which it returns consistently. These home ranges are not enormous by large snake standards, but the black mamba defends them actively and returns to the same refuge with remarkable consistency. The black mamba's distribution across vast areas of sub-Saharan African savanna places it in close proximity to rural human populations across an enormous geographic area, a factor that contributes significantly to its medical importance. The East African green mamba is a specialist of coastal forest, dense, humid, low-altitude forest and forest edge habitat along the East African coast and adjacent areas. It is highly arboreal and spends the overwhelming majority of its time in trees and shrubs, descending to the ground only occasionally to cross open areas, to drink or to lay eggs. Its range is defined by the distribution of suitable coastal forest habitat, which has been severely fragmented by agricultural clearance across much of East Africa. Within this range, the green mamba is genuinely abundant in suitable habitat, but its restriction to specific forest types and its arboreal lifestyle mean that human encounters are far less frequent than with the broadly distributed and ground-dwelling black mamba. The green mamba's brilliant green coloration, which might seem conspicuous in other contexts, provides near-perfect camouflage among the leaves and branches of its forest habitat. A resting green mamba in a leafy tree is essentially invisible to the casual observer, and this camouflage effectiveness is one of the reasons why bites from green mambas, while serious, occur considerably less frequently than bites from black mambas. Both the black mamba and the green mamba possess potent neurotoxic venom, but the two species differ in venom composition, venom yield, and the typical clinical picture of envenomation. The black mamba's venom is primarily composed of dendrotoxins, a class of neurotoxins specific to mambas, along with alpha neurotoxins and cardiotoxins. The dendrotoxins work by blocking potassium ion channels in nerve cell membranes, preventing the normal repolarization of nerves after they fire, and causing a state of continuous, uncontrolled nerve stimulation that leads to convulsions, muscle spasms, and eventually paralysis. The alpha neurotoxins block acetylcholine receptors at neuromuscular junctions, preventing nerve signals from reaching muscles and causing a more classical paralytic syndrome. The cardiotoxins directly affect heart function, causing cardiac arrhythmias that can progress to cardiac arrest. A large black mamba can inject between 100 and 400 milligrams of venom in a single bite, an extraordinarily large quantity. The estimated lethal dose for a human adult is approximately 10 to 15 milligrams, meaning a full bite from a large black mamba can deliver many times the lethal quantity. Without antivenom treatment, death from respiratory failure can occur within 7 to 15 hours in a typical adult, and severe envenomation can be fatal within as little as 20 minutes. The black mamba's habit of delivering multiple bites in rapid succession when defending itself makes each encounter potentially far more dangerous than a single bite scenario. The East African green mamba's venom shares the dendrotoxin-based neurotoxic mechanism of the black mamba, but differs in important ways. The green mamba typically injects a smaller quantity of venom than the black mamba, reflecting its smaller size and correspondingly smaller venom glands, and its venom, while highly toxic, has a somewhat lower overall toxicity per milligram than the black mamba's most potent components. However, it would be profoundly wrong to characterize green mamba venom as less dangerous in any practical sense. Green mamba bites cause a rapid and potentially fatal neurotoxic syndrome, and without anti-venom treatment, deaths occur within hours. The fact that green mamba bites are less frequently fatal in practice is primarily a reflection of the lower frequency of bites and the smaller venom yield, not of any fundamental safety in the venom itself. One significant practical difference between the two species is the availability and effectiveness of antivenom. Antivenom effective against black mamba venom is produced in South Africa and several other countries, and is relatively available in major medical facilities across the black mamba's range, though access remains limited in many rural areas. Antivenom effective against green mamba venom is also available and has demonstrated high effectiveness when administered promptly. The challenge, as with all African snakebite, is reaching medical care before the venom causes irreversible neurological damage. The behavioral differences between the black mamba and the green mamba are as striking as their physical differences, and they go a long way toward explaining why one species has become one of the most feared animals in the world, while the other remains relatively unknown outside specialist circles. The black mamba's reputation for aggression is one of the most discussed and most debated topics in African herpetology. The truth is nuanced. Black mambas are highly alert, fast-moving, and easily startled snakes. When encountered and given the opportunity to escape, they will almost invariably do so, rapidly and effectively, covering several meters per second across open terrain. However, when a black mamba feels cornered, directly threatened, or unable to escape, it responds with a defensive display of genuine ferocity, raising the anterior third of its body off the ground, spreading a narrow hood, opening its mouth to display the jet black interior, producing a loud hiss, and if pressed further, delivering a rapid series of bites, not a single defensive strike, but multiple bites in fast succession. This combination of speed, aggressive defensive response when cornered, large venom yield, and fast-acting toxin makes the black mamba one of the most medically dangerous snakes on Earth in the context of an actual encounter. The East African green mamba is a behaviorally very different animal. It is generally considered a more nervous and more cryptic snake than the black mamba, relying primarily on its camouflage and its arboreal lifestyle to avoid detection rather than on speed and intimidation. When approached or disturbed, a green mamba typically freezes first, trusting its camouflage to render it invisible, and then retreats deeper into the vegetation if the disturbance continues. Green mambas are not considered aggressive snakes, and unprovoked bites are genuinely rare. Most bites occur when people accidentally make contact with a snake that they have not detected, reaching into vegetation where a green mamba is concealed, or accidentally disturbing a snake that has descended to ground level. The green mamba's ability to remain motionless and invisible among foliage means that many people pass within meters of green mambas without any awareness of the snake's presence and without incident. The conservation situations of the black mamba and the green mamba reflect their different habitat requirements and their different relationships with human-modified landscapes. The black mamba, despite its fearsome reputation, is not currently considered threatened across its range. Its broad habitat tolerance, its distribution across vast areas of sub-Saharan savanna, and its ability to persist in areas of moderate human land use give it considerable resilience. The primary threats to black mamba populations are habitat loss through agricultural conversion of savanna, persecution by humans who kill snakes on sight, a near universal response across much of its range, and road mortality. However, the species remains widespread and abundant across most of its range. The East African green mamba faces a more serious conservation situation. Its dependence on coastal forest habitat, one of the most heavily deforested and fragmented ecosystems in Africa, means that green mamba populations across much of their range exist in increasingly isolated forest fragments surrounded by agricultural land. The coastal forests of East Africa have been severely reduced in extent over the past century, and the remaining forest patches are under ongoing pressure from timber harvesting, charcoal production, and agricultural expansion. As these forests shrink, green mamba populations become more fragmented. Genetic exchange between populations becomes more limited, and local extinctions become more likely. Both species suffer from the near-universal human tendency to kill any snake encountered, regardless of species. While this is understandable given the genuine danger both mambas represent, it contributes to population declines that have no ecological justification. Both species play important roles in their respective ecosystems as predators of rodents and other small vertebrates. So, what is the real difference between a black mamba and a green mamba? At the most visible level, the black mamba's olive-brown body and jet-black mouth interior versus the green mamba's brilliant emerald coloration, two color schemes so different that no one who has seen both snakes could confuse them. At the ecological level, the black mamba is a ground-dwelling predator of open savanna, fast, visible, and encountered across a vast area of sub-Saharan Africa wherever humans and wildlife overlap. The green mamba is a camouflaged arboreal specialist of coastal forest, invisible in the canopy, rarely encountered, and medically significant primarily through accidental contact. At the medical level, both species are genuinely dangerous with potent neurotoxic venom capable of causing death without treatment. The black mamba's greater size, larger venom yield, aggressive multiple bite defensive strategy, and vast distribution across densely populated regions make it responsible for far more human fatalities, but the green mamba's venom should never be underestimated. Both snakes are the products of the same evolutionary lineage, genus Dendroaspis, that has produced some of the most sophisticated venom delivery systems and most effective neurotoxins in the vertebrate world. Both have shaped African culture, African ecology, and African medicine in ways that will continue long into the future. Thank you for watching.